Terrorists opened fire on 8 members of Knesset this morning as they went in to visit Joseph's tomb in the city of Shechem. The establishment of a right-wing government is moving forward today at the house of the President of Israel. Arab MK Ahmed Tibi says that Arabs own the land of Israel, while at the same time calling the new proposed government fascist. I'm Josiah, and this is the Israel Guys. Hello and welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show, guys. First off, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the Israel Guys. Also, if you enjoy watching these shows and you enjoy getting the news straight from Israel, why not recommend it to your friend? Share this with as many people as possible. We want everybody to be able to have a direct connection, everybody to be able to connect to Israel on a daily basis, get their news, get their facts, real facts, accurate facts from us here in Israel. So share this with your friends. That we much appreciated. So this morning, even before the early hours of dawn, probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the terrorists opened fire on 8 members of Knesset that were visiting Joseph's tomb. Now, you may ask, why are they visiting Joseph's tomb at 2 and 3 in the morning? Well, unfortunately, the way the situation is here in Israel, NABLUS, or Shechem, the biblical city of Shechem, where Joseph from the Bible, is actually buried, his tomb is there, Jews are only allowed to visit this area in the middle of the night and under heavy IDF escort, because it is currently an Arab-controlled city. And they need a heavy IDF escort because, as we saw last night, terrorists opened fire on this party that was visiting Joseph's tomb. There were 8 MKs from Likud, from Shaz, from Otzma Yehudit, and Religious Zionism were there visiting the tomb, along with dozens of other Jewish visitors and the Samaria Regional Council head, Yossi Dagan, and his deputy, David Ben Sion. They were all there visiting Joseph's tomb with these right-wing MKs from the Knesset that are soon to be part of the government, hopefully. And during their visit to the tomb complex, Arab terrorists opened fire on the Israeli soldiers securing the area, which could have easily, the people inside could have easily been hit and injured as well. It's a very small complex there in the middle of Shechem. No injuries, thankfully, were reported among the visitors or the security personnel. The IDF did return fire on the terrorists and ended up neutralizing one of the terrorists that was attacking them there. The head of the Samaria Regional Council, Yossi Dagan, was there on the visit with the MKs, said, quote, "A number of amazing members of Knesset who will be sworn into the Knesset just days from now came here. On the one hand, it was sad to come here, since we have to come in the middle of the night to this holy place after having had stones and firebombs thrown at us. It is so humiliating. Because the army isn't fully stationed here, even though under the accursed Oslo, it is supposed to be. On the other hand, it is so exciting to connect with the people's deepest roots, to Joseph the righteous. We came here together to strengthen our joint efforts on behalf of the land of Israel on the eve of the formation of a right-wing government, the people elected in order to govern, not to talk." Again, that was Yossi Dagan, the head of the Samaria Regional Council, who was there when the attack happened. And something interesting to point out, he said, is it's sad they have to go in the middle of the night and under this being attacked. They're pretty much every time they go in, there's the Arabs burn tires, they throw fire bombs against the buses, they hit the buses with rocks. Thankfully, the buses are armored, so it prevents a lot of those attacks from being lethal on the passengers. But one of the things Yossi Dagan said here was that the army isn't fully stationed here, even though under, Yossi Dagan said, the accursed Oslo Accords, it is supposed to be. So under Oslo, there was supposed to be an IDF presence in Shechem, in Nablus, right next to Joseph's tomb. And today there's not, as there should be, because the Arabs, even we saw it several months ago, I believe, the Arabs went in and vandalized the whole Joseph's tomb, destroyed parts of the tomb. Thankfully, they went in and restored it, but just vandalization of holy sites like that should not happen, and unfortunately, it's more likely to happen if there's not an Israeli presence there all the time, or the military looking out for it and keeping it safe. So thank God none of these members of Knesset were injured, or any of the visitors that went there. It's a little bit dangerous to go in for these Jewish visitors, but visitors still go every single month into Joseph's tomb to visit and connect, as Yossi Dagan says here. He said, to connect with our people's deepest roots to Joseph the righteous. Guys, this is the Joseph we're talking about in the Bible. They carried his bones out of Egypt, buried him right here in Shechem between Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, the Mount of Blessing, the Mount of Cursing, in the biblical city of Shechem. And that's all these guys, these Israelis, these Jewish Israelis want to do, is they want to go in and connect to their deepest roots. Their forefathers who are buried here in the land of Israel. And unfortunately, it ends up being a large-scale operation and a big deal because of the local Palestinian Arabs who are here in the area and controlling that city there. Today, we got good news for the government. The elections were last week. Thank God there was a right-wing majority government were elected. The parties were all voted for. Now, today, the right-wing government is going to move forward, and I'll explain, basically, just give you a real simple explanation about how it works and how a new government is formed here in Israel. The president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, is supposed to begin meeting with all the parties that were elected last week in the 25th Knesset to receive their recommendations for prime minister. So the way establishing a government works here in Israel is that after the elections, all the parties that were elected by the people, by the votes, will give their recommendation for who they want to be prime minister to Israel's president. And basically that's whoever they would like to form a coalition with. Normally it's the party with the largest coalition or with the largest number of seats in the Knesset. They will recommend that person, saying we're going to join a majority government with them. We want them to be prime minister, and we're going to join his government. So the president of Israel will officially appoint the candidate that has the highest number of recommendations from these MKs. Excuse me. And very interesting, as of Tuesday evening, Likud chairman and opposition leader Benjamin Netanyahu is leading by a large margin over the current Prime Minister Yair Lapid, who is on the left. I mean, that's not really surprising. But what's kind of interesting is that Netanyahu is expected to receive 64 MK's recommendations from all the parties. Those are basically all the right-wing parties that say they're going to join a coalition with Benjamin Netanyahu. So Benjamin Netanyahu is probably going to receive 64 recommendations from 64 MKs here. Now, on the other side, you would think that since there's 120 seats in the Knesset, 64 right-wing MKs are going to support Netanyahu, right? You would think that there would be, what's the rest of them? 56 recommendations for Yair Lapid, right? Doesn't seem to be the case. So the National Unity Party, which is Benny Gantz and Gideon Sa'ar, they're kind of center, even left-leaning. They announced on Tuesday that they will not recommend a candidate for prime minister. So they're not going to recommend anybody. Also, Israel Beitenu, who's also center, rather left, and Hadash Tal, who is an Arab party, they both have said that they will not recommend any candidate for prime minister, which leaves Yesh Atid and Labor. So Yesh Atid is Yair Lapid's party, and Labor, another left-wing party, to recommend Yair Lapid for prime minister, when you add the numbers of MKs together, Yesh Atid has 24 seats and Labor has 4, leaves 28 MKs recommending Yair Lapid for prime minister, versus the 64 recommending Benjamin Netanyahu to become Israel's next prime minister. So after the MKs recommend to the president of Israel, who is basically like the symbolic figure of Israel, he also plays his biggest role during elections as far as officially. It's more of a ceremonial role. He plays with directing who is going to be the next prime minister, or appointing somebody to form a coalition. So after the MKs give their recommendations to the president for who they want to be prime minister, in this case, there's probably going to be 64 MKs that are going to recommend Netanyahu, then President Isaac Herzog will appoint Netanyahu to form a majority coalition, and I believe he has 2 weeks to accomplish that. And if he's not able to, then basically he hands it back to the president, say, I was not able to form a coalition, and the president has the option of either going to new elections or giving it to another MK who may have a chance of forming a coalition, and he gives him an additional 2 weeks to do that as well. Hopefully that will not be the case, because it seems like all these parties have already agreed to sit with Netanyahu, and there won't be too much of an issue with forming a majority right-wing coalition, right-wing government in Israel. Guys, I want to tell you about Newsreel real quick. Newsreel is an app newsfeed app that I use almost every single day here. If you're looking for a newsfeed app that gives you quick, accurate headlines with events happening on the ground in Israel, just recently I found the Newsreel app, and I use it every day to get updates on what is happening all over Israel. Newsreel is a free, dynamic, it's also pro-Israel newsfeed app reporting 24/7 on all the events happening on the ground in Israel. The great thing about Newsreel is that it was created so that Israel supporters like you can stay connected to Israel on a daily basis. It sends you lots of updates on a daily, even hourly basis on what is happening in the land of Israel with firsthand reports. They provide you tools and information for evangelicals and supporters, Israel supporters all around the world to fight alongside Israel, stand with Israel in its information war against the BDS and against rising anti-Semitism around the world. If you want to keep up with what is happening in Israel, I would recommend you download the app Newsreel today. Click the link in the description below, or you could click up here and download the app today. That's Newsreel, the app. All right, we have another story, and this has to do with, again, the government of Israel and some of the not so pro-Israel members of Knesset that are, unfortunately, sounds weird. How can you have a anti-Israel Knesset member inside of Israel's government? It sounds like an oxymoron, but unfortunately, this is the case here in Israel. So the Arab MK, one of the Arab MKs, Ahmed Tibi, he's from the Hadash Tal party. He said that Israel has now become a bastion of fascism in the world. So this is after last week's victory, right-wing victory for the government, and specifically targeting the religious Zionism party, Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, specifically targeting them. So now, so he commented on a tweet by Itamar Ben-Gvir, who wrote, it was a tweet saying, "We won." He actually was responding to a picture showing Ahmed Tibi, the MK, in the airport leaving Israel. So in the since deleted tweet, Ahmed Tibi is seen at the airport leaving Israel. And Ben-Gvir wrote, in response to that picture of the Arab MK leaving Israel, this is right after the election, Itamar Ben-Gvir wrote, saying, "It's time. May we be blessed with such good news only, and that they never come back here," referring to Ahmed Tibi. So Ahmed Tibi told the Arabic language Naz radio, Arabic-speaking radio, he said, quote, "These are the dreams of the fascist right, to see the elimination of the Arabs in general. I'm on a private vacation in Istanbul and will return in a few days since we own the land." Since we own the land. We didn't get here by ship or plane. There is an escalation in fascism. This is Ahmed Tibi, an Arab MK in Israel's government. So he's saying that Ben-Gvir's saying that he hopes he never comes back, is saying that he's calling for the elimination of Arabs in general. That is not at all what Itamar Ben-Gvir was saying, and Itamar Ben-Gvir has since deleted the tweet. But what he was saying, it seems, and as we can see from this guy's history, Ahmed Tibi has openly supported terrorism in the past, and he's not shy about supporting his view that Israel belongs to the Arabs. He said right here, this land, we own the land. We own the land of Israel. We as in the Arabs, right? And he's not even a Palestinian. He's an Arab Israeli who has Israeli citizenship and is in Israel's Knesset. So for Itamar Ben-Gvir saying, "I hope you never come back," that's not a anti-Arab statement. It's saying somebody who does not support the land of Israel, somebody who openly supports terrorism, somebody who does not calls for, is saying that Israel belongs to the Arabs, the one Jewish state in the entire world, the only Jewish state in the entire world. Itamar Ben-Gvir saying, "I hope you never come back," which is, it's not really a radical statement if you think about it. He did delete his text because it may have, I'm not exactly sure why he deleted the tweet, but maybe for reasons, I don't know, for his political party or whatever. But he did delete the tweet. Very interesting though. Nobody's talking about Ahmed Tibi saying that we own the land. This is the only Jewish state in the world. He's saying the Arabs own the land. Now, Tibi was asked about his relationship with Itamar Ben-Gvir, who was supposed to be, it seems like he's going to be appointed the public security minister in the new government. Ahmed Tibi said, quote, "We will not have contacts with Ben-Gvir. And I believe that Jewish members of the Knesset will not have contact with Ben Gvir either. There is always a deputy in the ministry, a coordinator of activities with the police, a director general. This is simple and not a big issue. There is a position that we must take, a moral position. Now, let me tell you what he's saying here. He's saying that if Ben Gvir is appointed the security minister, the public security minister, which has to do with securing places all over the land of Israel, not just in Judea and Samaria, by the way, Ahmed Tibi say he's not going to have any contacts with Ben Gvir. He's not going to talk to him. He's not going to work with him. He's saying, "Oh, yeah, I can work with his deputy. I can work with the other people that are in his organization down the ranks, but I'm not going to work with Itamar Ben Gvir." Now, if Itamar Ben Gvir is the public security minister, you know what that means? That means security for Judea and Samaria. That means security all across Israel. Let me tell you, one of the biggest security, you could say, threats in Israel is violence in the Arab areas. Predominantly Arab cities that are, even if there's all Arabs that live there, I'm talking about outside the Green Line. I'm not talking about in Judea and Samaria. I'm talking about in what they would call Israel proper. There is a lot of Arab violence that goes on Arab violence. So as the public security minister, Ben Gvir, is going to be helping with that. He's going to be helping the police forces. He's going to be cracking down on crime in the Arab areas. This is helping the Arab residents of Israel. And here you have the representative of the Arabs in Israel, Ahmed Tibi, saying, I'm not going to have any contacts with him because of his views and of his quote unquote fascism, calling Ben Gvir a fascist. Completely inaccurate statement, completely false, fake news happening right here in Israel. All right, guys, to wrap up here, unfortunately, we received the news yesterday that the Jewish resident of Samaria that was stabbed 2 weeks ago in an Arab village, he was buying shopping in an Arab village. He was stabbed. Unfortunately, yesterday, he succumbed to his wounds and died. The victim, his name was Shalom Sofer. He was a resident of Kidumim, which is just about 20 minutes from where I'm recording right now in Har Bracha. He succumbed to his wounds yesterday morning. So he was the son. Lidor Sofer actually said that his father had been on the road to recovery before a sudden deterioration in his condition. The son said, quote, "My father was at home the past week, and everyone thought that he was on the mend, but suddenly one of his wounds reopened." Now, just a few weeks ago, we reported on this here at the Israel Guys. You can go back and watch the show. But on October 25th, Sofer, he's actually the owner and operator of a grocery store in Kidumim, his hometown, was attacked while shopping with his son at a store in the nearby Arab village of Al Funduk. An Arab man stabbed Sofer with a knife repeatedly before fleeing the scenes. So unfortunately, yesterday, seems like last week, one of his wounds reopened and his health condition deteriorated very quickly, and he ended up passing away. So prayers will be appreciated for the Sofer family as they mourn their father. To just continue to pray for Israel and pray for these guys and these victims and families of these victims, that they would be comforted with these attacks that are happening. Even seems like he was going to get better, but unfortunately he passed away. And we wanted to report on that and let you guys know so you can pray for this family here in Israel. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the app Newsreel. In the meantime, tune out the fake news and tune in to what is actually happening in the land of Israel. Remember, we'll be back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.